if this recording is found, if anyone ever hears my voice again, please understand one thing. I didn't go looking for monsters. I didn't want to uncover ancient horrors. I didn't ask to join the dead. I was just a journalist, a tired, underpaid, overworked reporter trying to keep my job. And I didn't know, I swear to God I didn't know, that the people I was sent to interview weren't people at all. They were vampires, real ones, ancient ones, and they've been watching me ever since. So if this is the last story I ever tell, listen closely, 'cause once you know what I know, they might start watching you too. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of stories that will make you question whether you're truly alone right now. You're listening to Silent Scream Chronicles. Do well to subscribe, share, and hit the like button for more tales to come. And also let me know where you're listening from in the comments. It started with a phone call from my editor. Not the usual "come in, we need to talk" tone. This time she sounded excited, which was rare for her because she was the kind of woman who used cigarette smoke like punctuation. You're going to love this one. Old family, huge estate, zero publicity for decades. They finally agreed to an interview. Big exclusive. Could save your job. Those last 4 words were the ones that mattered. Could save your job. A journalist never forgets that phrase. I swallowed hard, pulled out my notebook, and tried to look competent even though I'd slept about 2 hours the night before. What's the catch? She handed me a thin folder. Inside were photographs, black and white, antique looking, like they were captured on film decades ago. Man, woman, a younger man, all pale, all elegant, all staring straight into the camera with eyes that felt wrong. Wrong in the way an animal watches something it wants to eat. This is the Valentine family. They live in a mansion about 40 miles out, middle of nowhere. Locals won't say much about them. Superstitions, you know the type. It took a long drag. Just get their history, their habits, why they live so privately. Enough for a feature. Enough to keep me employed. I nodded, trying not to stare too long at the photos. The faces felt like they were following me. Oh, and don't go after sunset. Just trust the locals on that. She laughed as she said it, but her eyes didn't. I left the city at 4 p.m., hoping to reach the Valentine estate before dark. The sky was already turning the color of old bruises. Heavy clouds, low mist that curled across the road like smoke from an unseen fire. My GPS lost signal 15 minutes from the mansion. My phone dropped from 4 bars to searching in less than a second. The farther I drove, the more the forest seemed to close in around me. Tall black trees leaning over the narrow road, their branches forming clawed silhouettes. For a moment, I swear the shadows moved. Not blowing with the wind, moving. I told myself it was exhaustion, low blood sugar, an overactive imagination. But I locked my doors anyway. Then I saw the gates. 2 massive wrought iron structures, taller than a house, twisting into ornate patterns. Roses, thorns, long thin shapes that looked disturbingly like human figures curled into the metal. The gates opened on their own. No sound of motors, no guards, just a slow, silent welcome. Like the house had been waiting for me. The Valentine mansion towered above me like a cathedral built for nightmares. Stone walls blackened with age. Columns wrapped in dead vines. Windows tall and thin, like eyes watching from every floor. I stepped out of my car. The sound of gravel under my shoes echoed far too loudly, like the estate was amplifying every noise, so it could hear me better. Before I could knock, the door opened. Standing in the doorway was a man who looked like he'd stepped out of an old portrait. Perfect posture. Suit tailored in a style at least a century out of date. His skin was pale, not sickly but porcelain smooth. His hair dark and slicked back. But his eyes were a deep, unsettling crimson. "Welcome. You must be the journalist." His voice was silk on a blade, smooth but edged with something sharp. "Thank you for having me, Mr. Valentine." He smiled, but there was nothing warm in it. more like a predator showing its fangs without opening its mouth. "Call me Victor. My siblings are waiting." "Come." Siblings followed him inside. The air was cold, too cold, like the house was stealing the heat from my breath. Candles lit the hall despite it being only dusk. Their flames were strangely still, not flickering, not swaying, as if the air itself was holding its breath. The walls were covered in portraits, hundreds of them, all the same three people, in different eras, different clothing, different centuries. They looked identical in every painting, not aging, not changing, not human. My stomach tightened, but Victor didn't give me time to think. He led me into a massive dining hall, and they were waiting. Ilara Valentine was the first to speak. She sat gracefully at the long dining table, her posture perfect, her expression unreadable. Her beauty was cold, sharp cheekbones, dark hair, lips too red for someone with skin that pale. "Welcome. We've been looking forward to meeting you." Her voice was soft, melodic, but there was an undertone that didn't feel human, felt hungry. Beside her sat the younger man, Cashin Valentine. He looked maybe 25, but his eyes were ancient, old in a way that made my bones ache. He watched me with an intensity that made my pulse quicken. "Your heart is beating fast." Froze. "Don't be nervous. We don't bite without consent." He smiled. This time I did see fangs. Dark. Just for a moment before they retracted. I tried to laugh it off, but my voice cracked. Just nerves. First big interview in a while. Ilara tilted her head. "Your blood smells anxious." Victor stepped forward, placing a cold hand on my shoulder. Colder than marble. "Shall we begin?" I set down my recorder. But the moment I pressed the button, the candles flickered for the first time. All at once, Cashin leaned forward. "Tell me, do you believe in monsters?" My throat tightened. "No, I don't." Victor chuckled. "A shame. Denial is a human habit we find charming." I asked about their history. Ilara answered. "We've lived on this estate for a very long time. Longer than towns remember. Longer than your country has even existed. So, what is the family known for?" Victor's smile widened. "We are collectors." "Of what?" The candles dimmed. Every window darkened at the same time. Cashin whispered one word. "Blood." My chest tightened. I tried to stand, but Ilara's voice pinned me in place like a hand on my throat. "You don't need to be afraid. Yet." I swallowed. I was afraid, terrified, but my legs wouldn't move. Victor studied me like an artist examining a canvas. "You came for a story. We came for a witness." Ilara leaned closer. "You smell of fear and exhaustion. It makes the blood sweeter." I tried again to stand. Couldn't. Cashin touched my wrist lightly. Just a brush of fingers. My pulse spiked like my body was trying to run even though it couldn't. "You have a good heartbeat." Victor snapped his fingers. The sound echoed unnaturally, and the room changed. The table elongated. The candles brightened. The shadows deepened like pools of ink. I realized this wasn't a normal interview. This was a trap. And it had been since the moment the gates opened. Victor circled behind me. Lara stood. Cashin rose silently. They surrounded me like wolves around a deer. "Do you know why we agreed to this interview?" I shook my head, barely breathing. "Because once every century, we choose someone to tell our story." Victor leaned close to my ear. Cold breath, rotten sweetness. And then, he smiled against my skin. "We decide whether they live long enough to publish it." My blood turned to ice. I shoved back my chair and ran. Victor didn't move. Ilara didn't chase. But Cashin was behind me in an instant. One blink, one heartbeat. He grabbed my arm. "Running already? The fun hasn't even started." I swung wildly, hitting his face. He didn't flinch. He didn't even blink. He smiled, fangs now fully extended. "Good. It makes the blood warmer. I tore free and sprinted down the hall. The portrait's eyes followed me. The walls seemed to breathe. Doors shifted. Hallways twisted. The mansion became a labyrinth of moving shadows and whispering voices. I wasn't running through a house anymore. I was running through a predator. And it wanted me. Badly. I don't know how long I ran. Minutes. Hours. The mansion felt infinite. Until finally I saw it. The front door. Wide open. Moonlight spilling through like hope itself. I sprinted toward it. And that's when I heard Victor's voice behind me. Move. Deadly. Go on. Run. We always enjoy the chase. I didn't look back. I bolted through the door. And the world went black. If you listen this far, you know how I got into this nightmare. But getting out, that was the real horror. Because I didn't escape the Valentine mansion. I only left the first layer of it. And now, they're closer than ever. When the world went black, I thought they had killed me. But instead, I woke up lying on wet grass outside the mansion gates. My head throbbed. My throat burned like I'd swallowed fire. My limbs felt weak, like something had drained my strength in my sleep. It was night, much later than when I arrived. The mansion behind me loomed in the moonlight, but something was different. It was silent, too silent, as if the building itself was holding its breath, waiting for me to make the next move. My car was there, door still open from when I'd left it, keys still in the ignition. Felt too easy, too deliberate, but I wasn't staying to find out if it was a gift or a trap. I climbed in, slammed the door, and turned the keys with trembling hands. The engine sputtered. And died. My heart stopped. I tried again, and again. Nothing. No sound. No click. No response. Just the dead, suffocating silence of the forest. They wanted me to run, not escape. I stepped out of the car, scanning the tree line. The night around the estate felt wrong. Like the darkness wasn't empty. It was full of eyes. The moment I moved, my phone vibrated in my pocket. I nearly jumped out of my skin. Pulled it out. A notification. A new voice message. Unknown number. Against every instinct I press play. You shouldn't have run, little journalist. It makes the blood panic. Froze. The message continued. We're coming. I dropped the phone. The forest went silent. Not a single insect. Not a single bird. Nothing. Only the sound of breathing. Not mine. Something behind me. I turned around slowly. The mansion gates were open again. Wider than before. And standing in the opening was Ilara Valentine. Her dress was white when I first saw her. Now it was crimson. Wet. Dripping. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dark. She stepped forward, bare feet silent on gravel. You don't need to run. We're not going to kill you. Yet. I bolted into the forest. Branches tore at my clothes. Thorns ripped my skin. The cold night air scraped my lungs. Every few seconds I heard something behind me. A whisper. Footstep. Laugh. Ilara's voice floated through the trees. Slow down, you'll bruise. And bruised blood tastes bitter. I ran until my legs shook. Until my throat burned. Until I thought my lungs would collapse. Finally I collapsed against a tree, gasping. That's when I heard it. Something landing behind me. Graceful. Not human. Turned slowly. And saw Cashin. Perched on a tree branch above me like a predatory cat. He grinned. Do you know what I love most about humans? They believe forests protect them. He dropped in front of me without a sound. I scrambled back. He tilted his head. Where are you going to go? You're lost. The forest belongs to us. I threw dirt in his face and ran. He laughed. Not angry. Delighted. Good. Run. It warms the blood. His footsteps chased me. Like inhuman. Playful. Not catching me. Hurting me. Driving me somewhere. Soon I understood why. Because the forest path suddenly opened into a clearing. And Victor Valentine stood there. Waiting. Victor's posture was perfect. hands clasped behind his back, suit spotless, as if he hadn't been hunting me through the forest. His red eyes gleamed like dying stars. Enough. We didn't invite you here to chase you. We have a proposal. Backed away. He stepped forward. You want the story of a lifetime, yes? We will give it to you. We will tell you everything. I shook my head. I wanted nothing from them. In return, you will stay with us. For a while. My stomach dropped. How long? Victor smiled. Long enough. Cashin appeared behind me, blocking my path. Ilara stepped out of the shadows, completing the triangle around me. Victor continued. You will live. You will write. And when you are done, we will decide. Decide what? Victor's smile widened. Whether you become a part of our family, or become a part of our feast. My scream caught in my throat. Cashin leaned close, whispering, I hope they choose family. You'd be beautiful in the dark. I turned to run, but Ilara moved faster than thought. Her hand gripped my throat gently, cold, strong, immovable, not choking, holding, claiming. Her lips brushed my ear. Don't fight. It hurts more when you fight. Her nails grazed my skin. Cashin grabbed my wrists. Victor stepped in front of me, placing one cold finger on my forehead. Sleep. The world folded in on itself. Darkness swallowed me whole. I woke up in a stone chamber beneath the mansion. Candlelight flickered over damp walls. Chains hung from the ceiling. Bones littered the corners. Human bones. I tried to stand, but iron shackles clamped around my ankles. My recorder lay on the floor in front of me. Red light blinking. Recording. They wanted this. They wanted every scream documented. Footsteps echoed. Victor entered the chamber with a glass goblet. The liquid inside was dark. He held it out. You must drink. I shook my head violently. He sighed. You will need strength. This is nourishment. He stepped closer. Drink. Or die of exhaustion before we finish our story. Closed my eyes. Let the tears fall. Crash. Scream. Roar. Victor turned. And Cashin stumbled into the room, clutching his throat. Smoke poured from his skin. Sunlight. Someone opened the shutters upstairs. Victor's eyes went red with fury. Who? Then a voice echoed down the corridor. Not human. Not vampire. Something deeper. I did. A frail, elderly man stepped into the chamber holding a lantern filled with burning herbs. Victor recoiled as if the air itself stabbed him. I warned you creatures to stay inside your walls. Victor snarled. Ilara hissed from the corridor. Cashin clung to the shadows. The old man looked at me. If you want to live, move. He shattered the herbs on the ground. Smoke erupted. The vampires shrieked. Victor lunged, but the old man swung the lantern, the flames flaring unnaturally bright. Victor retreated, face contorted in rage. You cannot protect them. Watch me. He grabbed my chain and snapped it with surprising strength. Who are you? He pulled me up. A hunter. And your only chance. We ran down the corridor. The mansion shook. Shadows surged along the walls like living things. Cashin's voice echoed behind us. You can't run forever. You're ours. Ilara's footsteps followed. Silent. Blithering. The old man shoved me into a side door. We burst into the servant passages. Dark. Narrow. Suffocating. Behind us. The vampires shrieked in fury. The old man turned to me. They marked you. Froze. What? He touched my neck. There were 2 tiny puncture marks, barely visible, from when Ilara held me. They can sense you, track you, call you. You are tied to them now. He grabbed my arm. We must break the mark, or they will hunt you until you stop breathing. We burst into the kitchen. Windows exploded inward. Ilara crawled through the shards like a spider made of moonlight. Her eyes were pitch black now. Come back to us. The old man pushed me toward the cellar stairs. Move. He threw more herbs, more smoke. Ilara shrieked as her skin blistered. We ran into the cellar, and the old man sealed the iron door behind us. The cellar reeked of dust and mold. Torches on the walls lit with blue flame as the old man passed them. He placed his hands on my temples. When she touched you, she claimed you. My breath shook. I don't want to be one of them. He nodded. Then listen. He spoke a phrase in a language older than anything I'd heard. My body felt like it was tearing itself apart. My pulse pounded. My vision blurred. My skin burned. Inside, the vampire screamed. The house shook. Snap. Like a bone breaking. Pain vanished. The mark was gone. The old man collapsed, breathing hard. You're free. For now. We climbed out through a hidden passage that led into the forest. The sun was rising. The first light cut through the trees. The vampires screamed from inside the mansion. Burning, writhing, fading. The old man turned to me. They cannot leave their land in daylight. But when night falls, they will come. I nodded weakly. He placed something in my hand. A small wooden stake, cold, carved with symbols. You may need this, 'cause they do not forget. And they do not forgive. He helped me get to my car. It started immediately this time. As if the forest finally wanted me gone. Before I drove away, he spoke. Tell your story if you must. But understand, by speaking their names. You call them. I swallowed hard. So what should I do? He looked at the rising sun. Stay in the light. And pray you never hear a knock after dark. I made it back to the city. Quit my job. Tried to forget. But last night, I received a package. No return address. Inside, my recorder. The one from the mansion. Press play. Then Victor's calm voice. Our story isn't finished. Then Ilara. You escape. We liked that. Then Cashin. Part 3 soon. The message ended. I dropped the recorder. And that's when someone knocked on my door. 3 slow taps. The same rhythm from the mansion. Knock, knock, knock. And now, as I finish this recording, someone is standing outside my apartment. Waiting. Silent. Hungry. If you're watching this, if you're hearing my voice, please remember. Some interviews open doors that can never be closed. Some stories demand a price. And some monsters don't stay in their mansions forever. If you want to hear more horrors like this, subscribe to Silent Scream Chronicles and turn on notifications, because the next scream might already be on its way. Stay in the light and never answer a knock after dark.